nice straight back. And what we can try and do is, if you've got everything around you and you know where everything is, what it might be nice to do is to, if you feel safe enough to close your eyes during this practice, you don't have to, and you can always open your eyes and peek every now and then if you feel like you're going off somewhere, or you just need a bit of grounding, stability, kind of checking where you are, where the edges of the room are. But if you feel comfortable enough to, you could close your eyes and keep them closed for the whole session, which would mean you just need to know that where you're sitting, you can then transfer to where you're going to lie, and you can just kind of use your hands to grab stuff. And the reason is your eyes take in so much information to the brain. They're the sense that really has to translate the most information for the brain. So if you can withdraw your senses, which we're doing in meditation anyway, and introspective practices like restorative practice and deep relaxation practices, we're withdrawing our senses. We're going inside to kind of get to that kind of deep sense of self, or to try and work out what's real and what's not real. And our senses are constantly, they're like the relationship of what's inside with what's outside. They're translating what's outside inside. We're always kind of, our brain's going, okay, that's that color and that's that shape, them and all of that stuff. So if we withdraw our senses, we can go much deeper in practice. So the other thing to say about that is, if you do go really deep during this practice, we've got the pranayama, we've got the metta bhavana, then we've got the yoga nidra very, very inside. So what I would say is that after you've finished, don't just get up and go and drive somewhere, operate heavy machinery, farming tools, whatever you guys get up to on Sunday mornings. Eat something, spend some time reorienting, reintegrating your senses, look around, smell some stuff, taste some stuff, listen to some stuff, and then you'll be able to come back to your body, okay? Because we're going on a journey inside. All right then, so let's start with our backs nice and straight. Whatever position you've chosen is perfect for you. And we can have hands turned up, we can have palms turned down, whatever you feel. I'm going to put my hands down to ground me. I've got to be quite grounded to lead this practice. Morning Lucille, morning Emma. So we're going to start with our backs nice and straight, head centered, and for a moment that spine kind of lifting vertically from the earth upwards. And we're going to really widen out our base. So maybe you're going to spread the flesh underneath the pelvis, and you're going to let the pubic bone roll down slightly, producing that little curve in the lower back. Not so much that it's pinchy, but just so there is a lower back curve, there is a curve in the neck. We're going to lift the chest, we're going to widen through the collarbones, widen through the shoulder blades as well. And we're going to try and line up the crown of the head with the base of the pelvis. So it normally means drawing the throat or the chin back slightly to feel that kind of really long line. And if you take a few deep breaths, breathing in, traveling up from the pelvis to the crown of the head, and breathing out from the crown of the head down to the pelvis, and allowing your breath for a few moments to go up and down that line, that center line, just allowing your breath to expand out from that center line in every direction. And that should mean that you're gently and passively finding that sense of gravity, the bones lined up with gravity. And hopefully after a few breaths of this, you'll be able to maintain that position without holding. So remember that all of the muscles are just kind of holding you up, making you not fall over. So if you line the bones up with gravity, then you can let your muscles don't have to do so much. So once you've found that lovely position, let's take a few deep breaths. They don't have to be super deep, but just take your awareness to your breath for the next 3 breaths, making them as deep as you want, as deep as feels comfortable. You might want to sigh, you might want to yawn. You might want to just watch the effect of the in-breath and the out-breath. What's real for you today, right now, knowing that that will change as well, moment to moment. So welcome home. As soon as you sit still and have a breath consciously. You're coming home. So we'll begin the practice with this pranayama, alternate nostril breathing. You can feel free to not use the hand, just imagine the breath is traveling up one nostril and down the other. So if you want to use a hand, you can use the right hand. I'll just instruct with the right hand, but if you want to use the left, it's fine. And you can use the thumb on the right nostril and the last two fingers on the left nostril. And you can tuck the two fingers in. But if this is uncomfortable, just use one side of the hand for one nostril. First and second fingers, the index and middle, that's also fine. Do what you like. So sitting up nice and straight, I'll talk you through the first few and then you're on your own. Deep breath in, both nostrils. Block the right nostril with the thumb, exhale through the left, and draw the belly back slightly so you can really feel that you're emptying the lungs. And then when you finish the out breath, breathe in, allowing the belly to move forward and the breath to really expand through the whole of the lungs. And then block the left nostril with the fingers, release the thumb and exhale through the right nostril. Again, drawing the belly in slowly, so that helps you control the speed of the out breath. When you've reached the bottom, breathe in again through the right nostril. Push the belly out just slightly, allowing the rib cage to expand. And then at the top of the breath, block both nostrils, release the fingers and exhale left. So you'll continue with this pattern, exhaling through one nostril, then inhaling through the same nostril and then going to the other side. Exhale first. So it's like the exhale's cleaning out that side. The inhale's filling it in with fresh prana or life force. And then you can always add this pause at the top of the in-breath before you move from one side to the other. And you don't have to count, but if you want to count, you could make the out breath slightly longer than the in breath. So maybe you breathe in for 4 and you breathe out for 6. And you can work on gradually making your breath very subtle, almost imperceptible, very silent, very subtle. And if you're breathing in for 4 and out for 6, you could also introduce a little pause for. So you'll breathe in for 4, pause for 2, breathe out for 6. If that's going well, you could also add a pause at the end of the out breath. This is more tricky. And if it gives you any panic or too much to think about, you can leave this, but you could breathe in for 4, hold for 2, out for 6, hold for 2. And again, if you don't like counting, just do it your own way. And if that's going well, you can breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 6, hold for 2. So in for 4, hold for 4, out for 6, hold for 2. And then you can slow the whole thing down. Keep with the same count, but just be slower and slower and slower, or do it how you like. Know that they're only suggestions. Stay with me as we do 2 more minutes of practice. So without opening the eyes, if you closed your eyes and went inside for this practice, finish by exhaling through the left side, because that's a nice passive side. And then bring your hand gently back to your lap and just allow the breath to equalize through both nostrils at the same time. And just feel that kind of unity as the breath travels up through the right and left sides, as if it's traveling up through the sides of a triangle in towards the space in between the eyebrows, set back a little bit into the midbrain. And as you breathe out, it's coming from that point in the midbrain, coming out through either side, down the sides of the triangle and out. And now hopefully we've calmed and balanced the nervous system a little bit. Brought the right and left sides of the hemispheres of the brain together. We'll start our Metta bhavana practice. So we're going to use 3 phrases today. We're going to use the simplest formula and quite effective formula that I found that I use on retreats. And we start with sending metta to ourselves. And so you sit in your meditation and you hold an image of yourself in your hands, in your heart, in your mind. And you repeat these 3 phrases to yourself. May I be well. May I be loved. May I be happy. Very simple. May I be well. May I be loved. May I be happy. And you can connect those phrases to your breath, maybe all 3 with one breath cycle, or one phrase, one breath, however you like. And for the next few minutes, just keep repeating those phrases to yourself. And you could repeat them as if it's okay that you're well, loved and happy, that you believe you're worthy of those things. And if you can, stay with the breath. That can be a good anchor for you. And if the breath isn't an anchor, then you might need to open your eyes from time to time and just check where you are, find an anchor in the physical position of your body or organization of the room. But if you can use the breath as an anchor, just keep coming back to the breath. May I be well, may I be loved, may I be happy. Maybe you can visualize yourself being well, being loved, feeling happy. And if it's difficult, just keep repeating the phrases. And it's good to notice if it's difficult or if it's easy, where you have a few blocks to this practice. So just noticing, not judging, this is good or bad, I'm bad at this practice, or isn't it bad that I can't see myself being loved? Without judgment, it's just noticing where your heart is. We move on now to someone you love very much, a loved one, a beloved friend, or someone in your family who you love very much. Often this is much easier. And we repeat the same phrases to them. May you be well. May you be loved. May you be happy. And you can maybe imagine them in your heart space, in your mind, facing you in your practice. You can imagine them being well, being loved, being happy. And noticing again if there's any restriction or tightness or a sense of opening in your heart. May you be well. May you be loved. May you be happy. Again, just noticing your reaction in your heart to this practice without judgment or comment or blame. And then we can move on to the third part of the practice where you are going to send the same phrases to a stranger. So this is a bit more tricky maybe because it's hard to bring them in because you might not have a clear image. But really, the stranger category makes up the majority of people in our lives. People that are going through, passing through our lives without us hardly even noticing them. So maybe it's someone that you see in the street, someone who serves you in a shop. You don't know them, but you recognize. How it feels. It's like a secret love blessing that you can give to someone without them ever knowing. May you be well, may you be loved, may you be happy. Now is a little bit troublesome to us right now. So don't go for your arch enemy right now. Let's just keep it light, Sunday morning. Just someone who is irritating to you in some way or irks you or has offended you or there is a charge with. Now, if it's too difficult, you can just go back to one of the other phases. You, your loved one or a stranger. So don't sit with it if it's really causing discomfort because it's just to notice. It's to help us soften the heart, not brace against it. But if there's someone who right now holds that relationship for you, and fine if it is, because that's normal, then you could try sending them the same phrase. May you be well, may you be loved, may you be happy. And just notice your heart's reaction to these phrases. And maybe it changes as you practice, because this is a cultivation of loving kindness. It's not that it's there already, it's something that can be cultivated, that we can create, and we do it when we're ready. We don't force it. So just with curiosity, it's an interesting exercise. May you be well. Can you even bring them in? Can you even bring them into your heart space, into your mind? Can you even imagine them? And then send them these words: may you be well, may you be loved, may you be happy. No need to forgive anyone for anything, no need to dive too deep. No condoning of any bad behavior, just seeing what happens and where our cages in our hearts are. So it's just to see what's going on in there without judging it. It's okay if you can't let them in. And if you can, how does it feel? That's all. It changes. Sometimes it's not even someone that you don't like. Sometimes it's a friend, but it's just difficult right now. So you're going to put them in your meditation and see what happens, to get some information from your heart, what's going on. Where have I closed my heart? And then we can move on to the last part of this practice, which is bringing in all beings, sending loving kindness to all beings in all realms of existence. So that's beings. You can bring in all the people that wanted to come in before, and you have to choose one loved one. You can bring in all the animals, the animal kingdom. You can bring in people past, present, and future in all realms of existence. Maybe they're not here anymore. Maybe they haven't come yet. Angels, all of them. Everyone can come and gather in now. And may you be well. May you be loved. May you be happy. And what we can do here is just include ourselves in this practice. May we be well, all of us. May we be loved, and may we be happy. So for the last few breaths, the last few phrases are collectively, may we be well. May we be loved. May we be happy. Just allowing everyone to stream into your meditation for a moment. And then let that practice go. Come back to your breath. And if it was a difficult practice, then come back to one easy aspect of it, whatever your favourite person or group of people or phrase was. Just end with something nice. And then you can just very gently lie down on the floor for your relaxation practice. Take what you need to support you, maybe something under the knees, something under the head. And if you can go without disturbing your peace or going too far outside of this withdrawal of the senses, then that's taking time to arrange yourself on the earth. If you're lying on the back, you can really feel that the earth literally has your back. You can start to sink your weight into the earth. If you're practicing on a chair, just sit back to the back of the chair and let the back and the base of the chair support you. If you're lying on your side, get the support you need to really feel like you can let go. Again, you can come to this feeling of gravity taking you every time you exhale, just being able to surrender some of your weight into that support. So seeing how much you can let go into the earth, into your support. Every time you breathe out, you can feel that you're kind of merging and melting, spreading out. And then really feeling the contact points between your body and the floor, the places where your body touches the floor. So if you're on your back, you can think of the back of the head and the floor, backs of the hands and the floor, backs of the ribs and the floor, the buttocks and the floor, the backs of the legs and the floor, the heels and the floor. And as you breathe, And as you breathe out especially, you can start to feel that those contact points where your body meets the floor are merging and maybe imprinting into the floor, maybe planting themselves deep in the floor. Or you could imagine that there are strings attached to those contact points, which are maybe weighted. And every time you breathe out, those contact points, the strings are just magnetized. Maybe the weights are drawing into the core of the earth. So there's this little pull back to the core of the earth, to the mother. The earth holding you. And you can always come back to your in-breath, the front of the body free, so you don't have to feel claustrophobic or as if you're falling or paralyzed. You feel that every time you breathe out, yes, you're getting gently drawn back to the mother, to the core of the earth. But with every in-breath, you're free and you can lift and you can feel the whole, the front body expanding. You can feel the rib cage expand, the belly lift up towards the sky, as if every in-breath is lifting you up off your mat, just a touch, as if you're a feather being taken by a breeze. So it's the opposite. With every out-breath, you feel this drawing down, this weight, this connection with the core of the earth. But with every in-breath, there's a lightness, like a summer breeze, just enabling you to drift off. But you are in between these sensations. With every single breath, you're bringing those opposites together. But you're feeling them both separately. So have a play with that. Really feeling into the light of the in-breath. Allowing yourself to experience quite deeply the heavy of the out-breath. And know that you're safe to follow my instruction or to not follow. If anything doesn't feel right for you, you can ignore it, or you can explore your own sensations in your own way. And then I'd invite you to bring all of your awareness to the space between your eyebrows, the eyebrow center. Just drawing your awareness intensively if you can, so that your attention is placed on the space between the eyebrows. And then move your attention to the center of the throat. Just the space above where the collarbones meet, this little hollow in the front of your throat. And just placing your attention there for a moment. And then move your attention to the right shoulder, maybe the space right inside the right shoulder. And then move the attention again to the right elbow, then the right wrist. Right index finger, the tip of the right middle finger, the tip of the right ring finger, the tip of the right little finger. And then you're going to move your attention back through that constellation of points, from the fingertips, the tip of the thumb, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, and back to that soft hollow or the pit of the throat. And then over to the left shoulder. You can place your attention right in the center, inside that right shoulder. Then the left shoulder, and then the left elbow, then the left wrist, the left thumb, the left index finger, the left middle finger, the left ring finger, and the left little finger. And again, having placed your attention on all those points, you're going to bring your attention back through that constellation of points, from the tips of the finger, the tip of the thumb, the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder, and back to the throat. Now move your attention back to the center of the sternum. So you can imagine the point behind the breastbone, right in the center of the chest. All attention to the sternum. And then move your attention to the right chest, then back to the center sternum, then to the left chest, and then back to center sternum. And then move your attention down to the belly button. Attention on the belly button while you breathe. And then drop your attention down into the very center of the pelvic floor, the base of the pelvis. And then to the right hip, the right knee, the right ankle, and each of the right toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then again, moving back up through this constellation of points, from the toes, the ankle, the knee, the hip, and back to that base of the pelvic floor. Then go to the left side, left hip, left knee, left ankle, left toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then coming back, drawing the energy back through this passageway of points, from the toes, the ankle, the knee, the hip, back to the dense center of the pelvic floor. And then we'll move the awareness, the attention back up to the belly button, the center sternum, the center of the throat, and we'll let it rest back at the space between the eyebrows. Resting in this space, beyond time and space, all attention resting in this vast, open space between the eyebrows. And you can allow any thoughts or images or emotions or patterns to move through your field of awareness here. You can allow them to come in, you can watch, you can allow them to pass by, resisting nothing. Like clouds moving through the sky, any thoughts, emotions, memories, images, they come through, they move by like thoughts, like clouds coming through the sky. And becoming more invested in the sky. On which these thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories are moving through. Becoming more aware of the space behind the cloudless sky. And then dropping your attention now back down to the heart space. So the space that we visualize behind the center of the breastbone. Finding a physical sensation, if you can, of this space, this heart space, as if it's right in the center of the whole of the rib cage. Right in the center between the sternum and the spine. Right in the center between the right shoulder blade and the left shoulder blade, the right breast, the left breast. The right ribs, the left ribs. Between the belly and the throat, the lower back and the neck. This space right in the center, the heart space. Let your awareness rest here. And just watch as the inhale just allows you to expand out from this space, and your exhale allows as you explore this sense of this space being your inner sanctum, the most sacred space of your inside world. And as you inhale and this awareness goes out, it's like you're moving from the space inside you to the space all around you. And as you exhale, you're moving from outside back inside. And then resting inside for a moment in this heart space, imagining it to be the most sacred inner sanctum of your very being, as if it's your soul, or as if you're inside a sacred temple that looks exactly the way you would imagine your own sacred temple to look, decorated how you would expect your most deepest, most sacred part of your soul to be decorated. And here in our inner sanctums, our heart space, the space of our deepest knowing, our deepest intuition, our deepest love. In this space, I invite you to make an offering, some gratitude or a prayer or an intention for yourself, for someone else. Give something to this space, if that feels right. It's just an invitation, right? And having made an invitation, I invite you to sit in this inner space and be willing or ready or able to receive anything that this space has for you. Any sense of intuition, any sense of knowing, any messages. And if it's awkward or not flowing, you could instead set the intention that you are open to receive at any time, not right now in this moment, but beyond, when the time is right. Give and receive here. Knowing this is a place that you can come back to anytime you need some clarification or some offloading and the heart feels full or heavy. And the more often you go here, the easier it becomes to get here. And the stronger maybe the sense of connection to this space becomes. So now I invite you to come out from the heart space, knowing that it's there whenever you need it. Come back to the breath, come back to the body. Bring the intention, bring the awareness, bring the attention back onto the breath and the way the breath is moving the body. Become aware of how the body is lying or sitting, and how the breath, as you maybe deepen the breathing, how it moves the body, and how the body feels lying here, sitting here, however you are in your deep relaxation. Becoming aware in your mind of where your body is in space. Becoming aware of where you're lying in the room without maybe opening your eyes and physically seeing, just imagining where the floor is, where the furniture is, where your hands are, where your legs are, and start breathing into all of the parts of the body. Breathe into your head, and imagine as you breathe in that the head is expanding and welcoming this breath, and it gives you a sense of where it is and how it's positioned. And go through the whole body from the head down to the toes with your breath, reorienting yourself to your body and its position physically now. We went through very subtly before, now we're physically beginning to feel. And thinking about what you can hear now, the sense of hearing. You could start with the sense of hearing very close to you, maybe your breath, maybe even your heartbeat or your pulse. And then move that sense of hearing like a radar further and further out. Sounds in the room, sounds in the house, sounds in the street, sounds further and further and further away. Let your hearing go out now. And then becoming aware of any taste you have in your mouth. Maybe move your tongue around and swallow. Consider any sense of taste you have in your mouth and any smells that you can smell. Again, start close. The smells you have in your own room, your body, and then further and further away, seeing if you can sniff out like a sniffer dog. Smells further and further outside of you. And then we're going to leave vision till last, because as I said, that's the one that really starts making the brain work hard. So we'll do just a little bit more on feeling now, starting to actually move your body. We can start by just moving the tip of the thumb and stroking over the tips of the fingers and just getting senses. There's so many sense receptors in the fingertips. And you're not even pressing hard, you're just sliding the thumbs and just activating the sense receptors in the fingertips. And then you could maybe bring the hands together and just very gently rub the palms together and start to awaken the sense receptors in the palms of the hands and all over the fingers. Very gentle, not pressing. And then you could maybe keep the palms pressing together without pushing, and just breathe a few times and just really feel that you're taking in those senses, the sense of those palms. And then I invite you to just gently rub the palms one at a time over maybe the arms, the backs of the hands, the backs of the forearms, maybe up to the shoulder and down the inside of one arm, and then use the other palm to go up the outside and down the inside. And just do that a couple of times. Just very gentle stroking. You could then stroke over the head, the face, the scalp, the back of the neck, the throat, down the chest, over the breast area, down the belly, the lower abdomen. You could maybe move your hands back into the lower back, the back of the hips, the buttocks, and wherever you can reach down the thighs, fronts of the thighs, inner thighs, outer thighs, backs of the thighs. Maybe you can move your legs, bringing them into your body and stroke down the shins and calves and feet. And I invite you to just spread this touch over the whole of the body, as much as you can reach. That's a good challenge. And then when you've done that, just take a breath to absorb and to notice how the body's feeling. Maybe it's zinging, maybe your palms are zinging, maybe the whole body is awakened a little bit. And then if you're on your back, you could start to stretch and wriggle and roll to one side as if you're about to come up. And if you're on a chair, you can just stay on the chair. And if you're on your side on the floor, you can just move and stretch. And then bit by bit, you can press yourself up and just come to a seated position again, just lining up your spine perpendicular to the floor. Let your spinal fluids rest. You can open your eyes gently, maybe blinking them open, opening and closing the eyes. Just noticing that when they're closed, you're in your inner world. And when you're open, you're inviting the outer world into this experience. And bit by bit, as you blink the eyes open and you start reorienting yourself to your Sunday morning, and just knowing that everything you're doing is integrating inner with outer, and that at any moment, on any out breath, you could go back in in-breath, you can go out. And I will leave you with this feeling to get on with your Sunday. And as I said, take your time to come out of this state. So we've done a lot of internal work. So take some time, have a cuppa, eat some food. Keep this feeling for a little bit. This is like gold. And I'll see you next time. Wednesday we have restorative and nidra. So more nidra, but starting with restorative. And then we have still some more weeks of practice. So have a lovely day, everyone. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me, all of you.